We'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for your voice in my headset on friendship. And so it's fascinating to me on the four levels of friendship. In level four, and the depth and the complexity and the work and the sacrifice and the risk that's needed to do it. So every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern time, I do a podcast. It may be the best podcast of the whole week. So 15 to 25 podcasts a week, and this may be the best one. Why? Because often I'm alone, like I am today on today's podcast. And it's like in Ford versus Ferrari. So the movie book library, when you go through this, like if you wanted to be a level four friend with me, and I'm not saying I recommend that for sure, like would you go through and try to get inside my head, like of the movies and the books? I mean, who documents this stuff? Like, right? You know? And so in Ford versus Ferrari, you can drill down in and there's all of these that are like, here's the perfect lap. And then all of these others. And so there's an email I sent out this morning. It's called Poopy Pants. And so I thought, you know, because this last week has been just a breakthrough with so many things. Like it's my mind is just exploding. So in this one here where they're sitting at the restaurant, he's like, so many things. I mean, that scene is just like packed. Like, my gracious, it's crazy. And he says, you think you're going to do it with the Ford, with all the suits on the ninth floor. They're going to want to go ahead and have, they're going to want to have the famous Shelby sign something, but down deep underneath, they're all going to hate you. Why? Because they're jealous. Why? Because you think differently. And so, like this week, there were two situations where I recognized that the people fear me, like people even closest to me fear me. Like I can do a shift of energy. And it's like even the people who have known me for decades won't ask, are you okay? Like, or what's going on in your head? And again, I'm not criticizing. I think that's smart that they might not ask. They might black out. They might just ignore it, and it's fine. So I started, sharing that with people. And Alvin Miller, he just didn't even pause. He says, "Oh yeah, no, I understand why they fear you." I said, "Why?" He says, "Because you're transparent, you're vulnerable." And it's like, man. So it's like, why would why would somebody fear somebody who's vulnerable? And on the Friday, so that was Thursday, on the Friday meeting where we hang out at our house, bunch of us, Jason was humble and he asked, I don't understand. And that helped me to have a deeper understanding because I had to go deep to explain that. I thought I understood before he said it, but I had a much deeper understanding after. And it's like, because when you're vulnerable, people have no leverage against you. They can tell you you're an idiot. They can tell you you're a terrible leader. They can tell you, and it's not that you ignore them. It's not that you dismiss them. It's not that you deny. It's not that you do the 9 Ds. It's not any of that. It's so much more than that. So much, very, very much more than that. So a lot of it seems like normal human beings just ignore something that is said about them that they don't want to hear. And then other people get all dramatic and take it to the extremes and they compare it to stuff that doesn't even connect. And you're just like, really? That's just goofy. And so I sent an email this morning and I don't know. I mean, do I just go ahead and read the email? Mm, maybe, because it's a fascinating email. And so um I work with a lot of boys. So 13 hours and still no response from so and this person or this person. Oh, just for the record, I'm not picking on this person or that person. And yes, for the weak-minded ones, I have looked in the mirror and looked to see what percentage applies to me. It's fascinating to me how people haven't discovered that. And then they try to, I don't know, use that. I mean, Mark, is this true about you? It's like, yeah. I mean, I probably thought of that. I don't know. Did I think about that when I was 9 years old or 12? Like, yeah, no, I get it. But it's a flip. It's an emotional flip. Like people don't want to take ownership, so they flip it on you. Um, which is why Alvin Miller pointed out last Thursday, people are fearful of you, Mark, because you're transparent, vulnerable. And Jason helped me to understand this at a deeper level by asking a humble question. So he was sincerely didn't understand. He was curious. On Friday, he wanted to understand. Um, and we discovered together that when someone is transparent, vulnerable, the reason others fear that is because others don't have the leverage on their person. Like if the person just they can accept, okay, here's the percentage. It's probably more than the higher percentage than what we think it is. Oh, if you want to in a relationship, just go ahead and say what percentage do you think that's like, if somebody says you're stupid, say what percentage do you think I'm stupid? You know? And if it's, 1 or 2 or 3%, I wouldn't go ahead and jump up and down about that because, when you're in a car, one mistake can kill you. Just one, just one, or in a motorcycle or in an airplane. Motorcycle's far more dangerous, I'm guessing, than an airplane is. Far, far, far more dangerous. Because if we're able to see something that a transparent, vulnerable, humble person doesn't see about themselves, they will quickly see it, embrace it, and change. That intimidates people a lot. Why? Because that person can't see themselves. Once a family member said that I had my head up my ass. And I quickly, responded. I said, well, we both can agree that, somebody's got their head up their ass. I'm not sure if it's the person you think it is. So it's not defensive. It's like, okay, yeah, tell me where, but they don't know because because they got their head up their ass. And so, it's a vulgar, but it's like, I wanted to include this person and this person, but I didn't. Why not? It's complicated. Is it that I don't care about these two people? Maybe. If you're waiting for the poopy pants, it's coming. Wait, wait, wait. Now, we call this the poopy pants principle. I'm guessing that people won't want to be given credit for helping me to discover this principle. Just saying, like, you know who you are. Like, you just do it. It's okay. But if you are vulnerable, you'd raise your hand and say, I helped him discover that. But, probably don't. Here's some questions for ladies. I need some of your expertise. Can you give me responses to the following questions? When you are potty training young children and they poop their pants and hide when they do this, what do you think? Why do you think they are doing this? Like, it's fascinating, right? They poop their pants, they go hide in a corner, they're all quiet. You're like, oh, they poop their pants when they're in potty training. I mean, I don't know. Like, so ladies, what are your thoughts? Give me feedback on that. Why do you think that is? So, do you think this happens with little boys or girls more in your experience? So who does this more? Do little boys do it more? Or do little girls do it more? So I'm 61 years old, 7 kids, 10 grandkids. I've never thought who does it more. That's relevant, I think. And so, do you think this happens? Oh, number 3. What do you do to solve this problem? Like, ladies, share your thoughts. And then when I asked that question, it was fascinating. I hadn't thought about this in decades, but I now remember what my mom did to my siblings when they did this. Like, I went back, I don't know, 50 years. And I've never thought of this about this in the last 50 years. It's like it's never hit, but it did now. And what's fascinating is Jason pointed out, on Friday, I have dementia, like 70%, maybe 80% dementia, and I can go back 50 years. So we discovered an important principle that a lot of young men, they're at 99% dementia, and they're in their 20s or 30s. It's fascinating. Like, they can't remember their mistakes they made yesterday, and they can't learn from them. Like, what creates dementia? I don't know. Is it TikTok? Is it alcohol? Is it energy drinks? Is it the drugs? Is it marijuana? Like, what? I don't know what the answer to that is. But at 70% dementia, let's just call it 80%. I'll just agree. Yeah, 80% dementia. And at 80%, I can still outperform a whole bunch of boys. Like, they can't think, and process a whole bunch of them together. And as Luke, like he pointed out in the coffee connection, like, why are you forgetting? Like, why are you forgetting? And so Jason and Luke, what they try to do is they try to diminish, they try to bring the frequency down. They don't realize, they don't even realize. They bring it down because they're insecure. And they don't even know it. And they're trying to bring down the conversation, make fun of other people, and they don't realize they're just revealing themselves where they're at. And then ladies, so yeah, bring up the one about what my mom did. It's a fascinating thing. So do you think that maybe a lot of men, here's the 4th question, do you think that a lot of men have never grown up from this and still do the same thing as adult men? Like not physically, hopefully, but mentally, emotionally, relationally, morally, spiritually, financially, like all the LYs. Do you think that men do this, grown men do this, where they poop their pants, they go hide? Like, when they get When somebody says something hard, they ignore it. When somebody emails them something they don't like, they black it out. They don't respond with simple consideration. I'm going to think about this and get back to you. How hard is that? Well, if you're a poopy pants boy, you won't do that because you're overwhelmed with, I don't know, guilt and shame, right? Like, I'm so stupid. Like I'm gonna put my head in the sand or somewhere else and ignore it and hope that it just blows over and nobody brings it up again. I don't know. It's pretty interesting to me how I'm seeking to connect the dots and seeing some pretty crazy things. So this all started with me attending like the coffee connection. So if I'm telling you those coffee connections, but I think we need to have two levels, right? Very low level where they talk about temporal, superficial, surface things. And then one, this is the poopy pants. So here's the poopy pants group. You just want to talk about superficial surface things. You want to point out, you want to point out what you think is flaws in other people. You want to mock other people, not realizing you're just mocking yourself. You're just revealing your own position. Like Joe has said, like I barely got it. Like when you put a missile up, you reveal to the enemy, that your position, and what's the enemy? It's the truth. Like it's the truth. And it's okay, I guess, to have poopy pants. I guess. I mean, mom doesn't like it. Dad doesn't care because he just doesn't have to deal with it, right? So Nora went ahead and, you know, convinced me, moved me to participate in Coffee Connection. And then she did it again because she was sincere and she said, I feel cared for when you're there, which is fascinating to me. She says, I've only been there one other time. And so I realized others have had months, years, decades, but have they ever really shown up? So cared for, like protected from what? From the superficial, maybe the surface, the temporal, the things that burn up, they will have no benefit in eternity at all. They're just adrenaline, protected from the adrenaline junkie. I just want to feel something. And so and so pointed something out on Friday's meeting, and the other person, which I shared, I get it. They're first names. I'm not telling you last names, and so and maybe the people around but it's okay. They already know they were there. Or if they didn't see it the first time, well, maybe they have poopy pants too, and nobody wants to go ahead and point out any of the do I vulgar? I don't know. Maybe not. Could be dementia seems to be setting in. And Luke, why, the other guy, why are you forgetting the question? It's fascinating to me to see things that are so significant that it seems that women sense, they feel, they desire at the deepest level of who they are as a woman, and men, well, it seems that most men seem to avoid it as if their lives depended on it. So, you want to be a level 4 friend, but are you willing to go ahead and do the work? Are you willing to make the sacrifice? Are you willing to take the risk? If you're not, it's okay. It'll look like you have a lot of friends, but you'll feel like you don't. Because you crave something, the inner part of who you are. 7,000 RPM, and everything stops. And it's you and time. So I'm looking for, level 4 friends. I don't know. Might have one. There's a couple that I'm thinking, I think they might be. They got a long ways to go. A long, long ways to go. But do I have a longer way to go? Maybe, right? Maybe. But I'd like to have more than one. I'd like to have two, and then I'd like to, I don't know, have four, and then I'd like to have seven. I don't know how many level 4 friends can you have? I don't know. So hopefully this has been it's a fascinating one, right? I mean, it's like like level 4 friends are, man, they'll, you'll get a headache with them. But if you ever get to go on a kayak ride, you know, bring some, what is it, goody powder? I don't know what it is. Like, because there'll be some tension, there'll be some friction, there'll be some stress, but it's okay with level 4 friends. Because you'll make it through it and you'll be stronger because of it. It's a cool place to be. So if you'd like to join, if you'd like to join me on my, Sunday morning podcast at 7 a.m., you're invited. Just go to it's Eastern time, www.ravingfan.net. That's www.ravingfan.net. Join me there. They, you know, but come ready to go into the deep end because we don't, level 4, you don't really want to be in the shallows. You just don't. Once you taste significant things, it's crazy what happens. And if you do it alone, it's actually much, 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 far, far more fulfilling than being with 100 level 1 friends. You can do it alone. You can feel more alive. You can feel more significant. You can feel you're changing the world. You're achieving your life vision. You can be by yourself and you're good. Do you have any questions on this? I mean, pass this along to somebody else who might want to be a level 4 friend, right? Like, yeah, you can tell if they're even ready. Like, will they go through a half an hour, podcast? And what do you think about it? Right? You're just kind of a crazy dude. Like, what happens when you get 80% dementia, right? Like, whoa, this kind of stuff happens. It's not a bad place to be, I'll tell you that. Not a bad place to be. So if you have any questions, connect with the individual who invited you to participate, or you can call toll free 888-230-2300, or you can call or text 630-393-9909. That's 630-393-9909. Text and, share your name and your phone number, your email, and then share what you thought about this. I guess it's not for everyone, but share what you thought about, what you like, what you didn't like, what what did it cause you to do in your brain? Like, what did it cause you to do? Because it's pretty amazing, pretty special. Always remember we can accomplish so much more together than we ever can. I don't know if we're at level 4. You guys are awesome. Bye bye.